Imagine this for a moment. You open an online shopping app or walk into a store, and immediately you see a big red label screaming 50% off. Suddenly, the product feels irresistible. Even if you didn't plan to buy anything today, your brain quietly starts convincing you that this is a great deal. As a result, you begin to feel that if you don't grab it now, you might actually lose money. However, here is the real question. Are you truly saving money, or are you simply being guided to spend it? Because numbers like 50% off, 49%, or $9.99 are not random at all. In fact, they are carefully designed using money psychology to influence how your brain understands value. To begin with, let's look at one of the most common pricing tricks used almost everywhere. Imagine two prices placed next to each other. One says $10 and the other says $9.99. Logically speaking, the difference is only 1 cent. Therefore, it should not really change your decision. However, our brains do something interesting. When we read numbers, we naturally focus on the first digit. So when you see $9.99, your brain immediately registers it as something in the $9 range, not 10. Because of this, that tiny 1 cent difference suddenly feels like a bigger saving than it actually is. For this reason, businesses have been using this trick for decades, since it consistently makes products feel cheaper without meaningfully lowering the price. In addition to this, discount percentages also play a powerful psychological role. At first glance, you might assume that 50% off is the strongest number. However, many companies sometimes use 49% off or 49.9% off instead. Even though the difference is extremely small, our brains interpret these numbers differently. When people see a number like 49%, it often feels more calculated and precise. Consequently, it gives the impression that the discount was carefully measured rather than simply created as a marketing line. Because of this perception, the deal can feel more genuine and believable, even though the actual savings are almost the same. Another powerful strategy behind discounts is something known as anchoring. For example, imagine a jacket that shows an original price of $200, and right next to it you see a bright label saying, "Now $100, 50% off." Instantly, your brain compares the new price with the original one. As a result, $100 suddenly feels like an incredible deal because your mind is anchored to that $200 number. However, there is an important catch here. In many situations, the higher price was never meant to be the real selling price. Instead, it was simply placed there to create a reference point so that the discounted price feels much more attractive. Furthermore, discounts also influence how much people end up spending. In many cases, they actually make customers spend more, not less. For instance, imagine you went to a store planning to spend $20. Then you notice a sign saying, "Buy 2, get 1 free." Immediately, your brain begins focusing on the extra value you are getting. Meanwhile, it quietly ignores the fact that you're about to spend more money than planned. As a result, instead of buying one item for $20, you end up buying 2 or 3 items and spending $40 or even $60. From the store's perspective, the discount worked perfectly because it successfully increased your total spending. At the same time, businesses often add another powerful trigger to these offers, which is urgency. You've probably seen messages like "today only," "flash sale," or "limited time offer." These phrases activate something very strong in our decision-making process. When we feel that time is running out, we naturally stop thinking carefully about whether we truly need the product. Instead, we begin worrying about missing out on a great deal. Consequently, this fear of missing out pushes people to make quick decisions, and quick decisions are usually emotional decisions rather than logical ones. Because of all these factors, discounts become an extremely powerful tool in the business world. They're not simply about lowering prices. Rather, they're about shaping how customers think about value, urgency, and savings. From a money management perspective, the real lesson here is quite simple. A discount only saves you money if you were already planning to buy that item in the first place. Otherwise, if you buy something just because it is on sale, the discount did not really save you money. Instead, it simply changed your spending behavior. Therefore, once you understand this psychology, your relationship with discounts begins to change. Instead of getting excited every time you see a big sale sign, you start pausing for a moment. Then you ask yourself whether the purchase actually fits your needs and your financial priorities. And quite often, the smartest financial decision is not grabbing the deal at all. Rather, it's simply walking away and keeping your money where it truly belongs.